Hello everyone, greetings and best wishes from Joseph. I am extremely happy to welcome you all to this channel. Shall we learn once again? In this video, we are going to discuss about a person who has attracted me a lot. Not only did this character attract me, but also a lot many. And I'm very sure it's really going to attract you as well. What more? It has also attracted one of the most important English novelists, playwrights, and short story writers of late 19th century, William Somerset Maugham. William Somerset Maugham is specially known for writings which are well known for good understanding of human nature. This particular short story is about an Italian fisherman whose character attracted the author a lot. Let us first discuss about the characters of the short story. There are only a very few characters. The protagonist Salvatore, his parents, his two younger brothers, his wife Asantha, his two sons, and most importantly, the girl whom he loved. The very first line of the short story is, "I wonder if I can do it." The author actually wonders at something in Salvatore, and let's see what the author is going to tell us through this short story. The author knew Salvatore when Salvatore was just 15 years old, and the author remembers Salvatore as a boy with a pleasant face, laughing mouth, and carefree eyes. He was a lean boy, but a very active one. He was full of grace, and he was always in and out of the sea all the time. He spent his time in the seashore, always swimming with a effortless stroke. That is, it is very clear that he was an expert in swimming. His father was a fisherman. He owned a vineyard, and therefore Salvatore had to take care of his younger brothers. He really took care of them very well. And as he grew up, we know that the change which is taking place in the boys as they grow up, he fell madly in love with a pretty girl from Grande Marina. Of course, the girl also loved him, and therefore they were engaged, but definitely they could not marry because the rule of the land goes as follows. Before marriage, a boy has to do a particular period of military service. Therefore, he joined the navy of King Victor Emmanuel. In fact, he never wanted to leave his place, and therefore he wept like a child when he was leaving his place. And really, it was a very hard life for him in the navy, because he was a peace-loving person and he was not used to living with the strangers and living in a strange area. All these things made him sick. Three things the author is telling us about it. It was really very hard for him to follow the instructions, to follow a particular schedule, because he was like a free bird in his place. He was enjoying a free life in a peaceful place. And here, whenever the ship was landing, he had to go into towns and cities which are very much crowded. He did not like the friendless cities. And only after a few days passed, he realized the importance of island like Ischia and the Mount Versuvius, which was looking so beautiful. He missed everything which was present in his village, and now he has become terribly homesick. And three things were very hard for him. One was to follow a schedule and listen to the orders of others. and the second was to relationship with the strangers, and the third thing, which was the hardest thing for him, was to be separated from his girlfriend or his fiancée. Therefore, he could not stand this. He wrote letters to her, actually ill-spelled letters, just like handwriting of a child. He wrote about his feelings and how much he was feeling for her, how much he wanted to be with her, and how much he missed. All his feelings he poured out in his letters. He wrote actually long letters. So later, as part of a job, he was sent to many places like Spezia, Venice, BARI, and finally he was sent to China. And it was in China he had a very bad disease, and because of this disease he was in hospital for months. And later it was diagnosed by the doctors. This disease was rheumatism. Because he was in hospital for months, the doctors declared that he was unfit for military service. And one more important note added by the doctors was he would never get well in his life. That is, throughout the life, this rheumatism was going to trouble him. In fact, when the doctors told him, he did not listen to him. This particular verse could not enter into his ears. So because the only verse ringing into his ears is, he was unfit for military service and therefore he would be sent back to home. His heart was very happy. His heart was exulting. His only view was that he could go home and he could live with the girl happily in his own place. But actually something different was waiting for him in his village. So when he came back to his village, he expected the girl to welcome him, but the girl was missing there. The people who came to welcome him were only his family members, his father, mother, and 2 brothers. They were very emotional to receive him. So there was a great deal of kissing and jumping up and down. All these things, they exchanged a lot of greetings. And Salvatore just asked his mother about the girl. The mother told him that she had not seen her for 2 to 3 weeks. So Salvatore was confused. What would have happened to her? So in the very evening, he went to her house in Grande Marina, and definitely the girl was there at home. She was sitting on the doorstep with her mother, and he inquired about the letter he sent to her, if she received the letter or not, informing of his returning to home. The girl was saying positive answer, yes, she had received the letter. But then why didn't you come to receive me? The girl very frankly told him so that she had received some message from the boys, the island boys. So they were telling that he was very ill and he would never be able to be quite well again. And see, Salvatore was quite disappointed. He was just telling the girl, see, all these doctors talk a lot of nonsense. See, now I am back home and very soon I will get well soon. Don't worry about that. See, but the girl has already decided something in her mind. And she told him straight that she could not marry a man who would never be strong enough to work like a man. And she told him that her father would never give approval for the marriage. Salvatore was really a broken man. So he was something like completely broken, something like a beaten dog. His eyes were very sad. He was terribly unhappy because he knew that a fisherman's life would be very hard. And definitely he did not want to blame the girl because anyone would have decided the same. Therefore, for a few months his life was a very sad life, and he was working in his father's vineyard. And later his mother told him that there was a young woman in the village who was willing to marry him. And mother told the name of the girl also. The name of the girl was Asantha. As soon as he heard the name Asantha, he made a remark. She is as ugly as the devil. And she was also older to him. She must be about 24 or 25 years old. She also had been engaged to a man, and the man, while doing the military service, was killed somewhere in Africa. But here there is a chance for Salvatore to rebuild his life. She had a little bit of money of her own. Therefore, possibly if Salvatore married her, so there was a chance of buying a boat for his own, and there was also a chance of taking a vineyard in rent. And this vineyard at the moment was without a tenant. Therefore, they could take the vineyard and he could buy a boat if Salvatore married Asantha. Salvatore did not agree at once. He told his mother that he would see the girl until later. And of course, the following Sunday he went to the church and he saw the girl, and finally he said yes for the marriage. And soon they were married. Salvatore and Asantha were living a very beautiful life. Salvatore was a big fellow then, and Asantha, though she was a serious looking woman, whenever there was a chance, she appreciated Salvatore with a little smile. And definitely 2 children were born to them, and they were living happily. And Salvatore's life was definitely a hard life, as he was a fisherman. He had to go into the sea for about 10 kilometers for catching fish. It was really difficult because he had to row the boat all the way. And then, when there was no fishing season, he was working in the vineyard. But always he could not work because when the season was very cold, he was affected by the disease rheumatism. He could not work. In those days, he was just lying in the seashore smoking cigarettes. And he used to bring his boys also there for giving them a bath. And he used to wonder how small his children were. And the author was telling that his eyes were looking as frank as his child's eyes. So this is actually the special character owned by Salvatore. The author definitely tells he could not do this. He could not be just like this. He wonders as the character of Salvatore. So this is one of the most precious characters present in Salvatore. And just because of this character, Salvatore was living in spite of all the troubles and difficulties which came to his life. he was living, and this character was shining brightly in him. And that's what we have to learn from Salvatore, my dear viewers. Okay, this particular character is nothing but goodness, being good to others. And let us evaluate ourselves, how good we are towards others, and how pleasant we are, and how we take the difficulties which come to our lives. Yes, dear viewers, the author has set a beautiful example of Salvatore so that we can learn something from this character. Okay, viewers, thank you for watching. Until we meet in the next video, a very goodbye. Kindly subscribe, share and like this video. Thank you all.